For all of those of you thinking that women can't do everything that men can do, you're wrong. The kick-ass girl boss is not just some myth or fantasy, and it's not just some rarity that you see in the boardroom, because women can be just as dangerous and just as big a criminal mastermind as men can. That's right. Not only can they be superheroes now, they can also be wanted fugitives by Europol. That's right. Because the thing is, and you got to admit it, when it comes to criminality, men are overrepresented. You know, there's way more male prisoners. Majority of crimes are committed by men. And think about all the famous crime bosses and crime lords and gangsters over the decades, over the centuries. Heavily overrepresented by men. There's a lack of diversity when it comes to criminal masterminds. But Europol, and all props to them, have solved this problem by letting it be known and spreading a bit of awareness that, you know, girls are crazy and girls, you know, and can be just as malicious and criminal mastermindy as the next man. In fact, probably some of these female criminals are, you know, way more dangerous. You know, I mean, everyone talks about Curtis Warren or the Addams family. You know, there's probably some female crime boss who imported more cocaine than Curtis Warren could ever dream of. But, you know, because she was a girl, she was overlooked. But Europol are smashing the patriarchy and telling us all we wanted to know because, like I said, it just lacks a bit of diversity. So, new Europol campaign reveals most wanted female fugitives. The EU's crime agency, Europol, has launched a campaign showing its most wanted women accused or convicted of serious and organised crimes. On a dedicated webpage, images of the fugitives are covered with masks that fall away to reveal their identities. Nice little gimmick there, Europol. That's exactly what we wanted you to spend time on. Europol said it wanted to highlight that women were just as capable as men of carrying out serious crimes. And that's what we've been saying all along. You know, men have been given all the credit for all the crimes, all the rapings, all the murders, all the violent incidents, you know. It's always, men are most likely to commit a violent crime. Well, excuse me, you're wrong, because ladies are just as capable of committing horrendous crimes. And it's about time that people knew about that, you know? It's about time these women were given the voice that has for so long been silenced. So, good on Europol. That's good. All right. Although women are perpetrators of serious crimes, statistics show the majority globally are committed by men. Don't think you should put that one in there, pal. A recent study on women in serious crime commissioned by the British government and published this year also emphasises that most criminal roles, including senior roles in organised crime groups, are dominated by men, and that is the problem. That is the problem. You know, I mean, this is 2019. We are yearning for a Mexican cartel boss woman, you know, a Cosa Nostra crime boss woman, a Camorra crime boss woman, the Andrangheta, what are they called? Andrangheta, another Italian crime group. You know, they're calling out for a crime boss woman, Russian mafia groups, Albanian groups. You know, who else is there? There's loads, isn't there? London crime families. In fact, because you know London's got well woke, I would seriously consider joining a protest to march down the sort of well-known gangster spots, the classic gangster spots of London. You know, such as Islington is one, home to some notorious crime families over the years. And obviously, you know, Whitechapel, Bethnal Green, all the way down to, you know, all the way down south to sort of Camberwell and Elephant, you know, and march on people like the Brindles and march on people like the Addams family and tell them that unless they get one of their female siblings into a position of power, we will be boycotting all their criminal enterprises. That's right. We will not be paying any extortion money. You're damn right. They come round and try and kill one of us for unpaid debts. We'll refuse to die until they send a woman round to kill us. Right? So a recent study on women in serious crime commissioned... Oh yeah, I've read that bit. Sorry. I got very passionate. What is in Europol's campaign? Of the 21 fugitives featured on the Crime Has No Gender site, that's right, crime has no gender. Don't forget that. You can't be giving all the praise to men, all right? We're fed up, of the underrepresentation of women. We've hogged the limelight for too long. 18 are women and 3 are men. Each person's gender is left intentionally ambiguous until their mask is removed. Oh, I see what they did there. They're going to tell you all these things and go, well, that's got to be a man, hasn't it? And then you're like, oh my God, it's a bird. Sorry, I had to use the word bird. Sorry. It's very hard for me to adapt. Among the criminals is Elena Putsirevich, who trafficked 9 young Russian women into Caceres in Spain and forced them into sex work. I mean, girl boss. Another, Angelina Segjuka, is wanted for beating a woman to death in Riga, Latvia, 5 years ago. That's right, with these hands. Well, not these hands, I didn't do it. With her hands. Girl boss. Claire Georges, a spokeswoman for Europol, said the campaign was an extension of an existing website, EU Most Wanted, launched in 2016. She said the agency aimed to increase its chances of finding the fugitives featured in the campaign. We wanted to show that women are just as likely, just as capable, to commit violent crimes as men. Even though the discourse is often around male fugitives, women can be just as bad, she said. That's right. Badass girl boss. You heard it. She said the agency asked EU member states to submit their most wanted female fugitives. 3 states, the UK, Cyprus and Luxembourg, sent men instead. Okay. Well, shame on the UK. I mean, shame on my birth country, for not doing their research. For not, for being set in their ways and not, putting forward a woman. It's shameful. Are women more responsible for serious crime than we think? Dr. Marion Duggan, an expert in gender and criminology at the University of Kent, told the BBC that Europol was right about there being a stereotype casting men as more likely than women to perpetrate serious and organised crime. But the stereotype existed because it was true, she said. Wow. Isn't that fascinating that someone from university would come forward and say a stereotype exists because it's true? Isn't that fascinating? I would have thought that's the kind of thing that would cause absolute outrage. A expert in gender and criminology comes forward and says, well, the stereotype exists because it's true. I mean, that's fascinating. What a fascinating thing to say. Who would have thought it? That stereotypes exist because they're true. That's crazy. Obviously, all crimes could be committed of anybody, of any gender. That's right, well saved. But while some women do commit serious crimes, they do so far less frequently than men. But when they do it better, I bet. That's what she forgot to say. Okay, Dr. Duggan said gender stereotypes were often exploited by organised criminal groups when carrying out large-scale crimes. Many of the women in Europol's campaign, for example, have been accused or convicted of sex and drugs trafficking, roles in which Dr. Duggan said women can prove quite useful to criminal bosses, but where they very rarely act alone. For human trafficking, there's a false sense of security with women, so they might be used to gain the trust or compliance of victims, she said. With drugs trafficking, we tend to see women used as decoys or to facilitate the movement of drugs. but not in the very high or powerful roles. And that's what needs to be changed. And hopefully this is what Europol are going to do, is to spread the awareness so we can all think and hopefully and encourage our sisters and our daughters and our mothers to move higher up in the ranks of their criminal organizations. Equating these crimes to those of the male fugitives listed by Europol, many of whom are wanted for murder, was disingenuous, Dr. Duggan said. I wouldn't see it as equitable, she said. I think the campaign will probably be very popular, but I don't think it will shift the narrative to women are as criminal as men, because I think most people know that not to be true. Well, Dr. Duggan, excuse me. What's that bit of an internalized misogyny I see going on there, Dr. Duggan? Well, I'll have you know that the kick-ass girl crime boss is very much alive. I'll give you some examples. These are legit. I can't remember the women's names. I don't know their names. There was a very notorious crime boss in Miami in the early 80s, during the Cocaine Cowboys era. She was a Colombian woman, and she ran a crew down there, and she was feisty. I mean, she caught many bodies. She ordered the executions of countless people, very violent, horrific executions. And there's also there's the crime boss in series 2 of The Sopranos, when they go to Naples. The head of the Camorra clan they visit is a girl. She was a kick-ass crime boss. I know it's fictional, but it must have been based on some sort of reality, because that's research, you know? So there's a crime boss. And well, think about other kinds of criminals. Myra Hindley. She's nuts. Rose West. Yeah. Who do you think wore the trousers? I mean, wore the skirt. You know, who... Yeah, there is. There's loads of them. But in all serious notes, as if it wasn't crazy enough that they're always trying to, do this in Hollywood, saying, oh yeah, girls can do exactly what men can do. Well, it's not just Hollywood. You see this across the board. Like, it's like women are equal, or as equal as men are. They can do everything that men can do, and then they sort of contradict it. Blah, 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 blah. So it's like, well, are women as capable of being criminal masterminds as men? This might be one of the straws that breaks the camel's back, where Europol maybe have a diversity quota or something. I don't know. Did they have a meeting and someone said, women are really underrepresented here. We need to spread the awareness of female criminality, because men dominate this industry, and we need to work out how we can bring more women in. I don't know. Or show little girls, like Brie Larson said to little girls across the world that, they can be whatever they want to be, including, an intergalactic superhero who has magical powers. Any little girl can be that if they want. Maybe this is the same thing, if you want to be a criminal, or at least a murderous nutter, you're quite capable. Smash the glass ceiling and all that. Fascinating. But of course, this is me being serious, by the way. But of course, I think the most interesting thing is that this professor would say that the stereotype of men being more criminal than women exists because it is true. It's the first time I've heard someone, article or on record sort of saying that as as a professional opinion. Rather than just some throwaway opinion by someone going, well, it's true, isn't it? It's like, oh, I'm a doctor. I study criminology and gender. And this stereotype exists because it is true. It's the first time I've ever heard anyone say that on a professional level. I find that quite fascinating. I ain't going to go into why it's fascinating, but I just find it fascinating. Anyway, that's it for that. Hope you enjoyed yourself.